The Bible says there are 7 deadly sins. Theologians say they'll send you straight to hell. Formula 1 says, hold my Red Bull. Because every single one of these sins is alive on the current grid right now. And the scary part is, the more sinful they are, the faster they go. 7 drivers, 7 sins. Let's absolutely condemn them all.
Can we get out of here? No, I'm enjoying it.
Pride, the original sin, the daddy of them all. And if you had to cast one person on this planet as the living embodiment of I am built different and I know it, it was always gonna be Max Verstappen. It was never not going to be Max Verstappen. This man doesn't believe he can lose. He physically cannot process that information. You could show Max a replay of himself spinning off into the gravel, pointing at it in slow-mo, and he would still find a way to blame the tarmac. Or hell, even the poor stewards. Or the concept of physics. Someone asked him once in an interview what his weaknesses were. He said, I don't know. I have to think about it. He couldn't think of one. Not a single one. Most people fake one for the cameras. Like, oh, I care too much. I'm too passionate. Not Max. Max just stared into the interviewer's soul like, weak points? In this economy? Not for me. Nah, bro. And then there's the team orders situation. Christian Horner, his own team boss, telling him, multi-21 Max, hold position. Max heard that, processed it, and overtook Checo anyway. Used that team order like a napkin, wiped his mouth with it, and moved on. Did he apologize properly? Not really. Did he do it again? Oh, absolutely. But here's what makes Max genuinely insufferable. The pride is justified. He backs it up every single weekend. He doesn't just think he's the best. He is the best. And he knows it. And you know it. And he knows that you know it. Which is the most annoying type of person in existence, by the way. 7 deadly sins? Max would call that a 7-race winning streak. Greed, the desperate, clawing, the insatiable desire for more. And before the comments absolutely lose their we're not talking about money. Lewis gives a load of that away. We're talking about something far more dangerous in F1. Legacy. The most addictive drug known to man. And Lewis Hamilton is absolutely cooked on it. This man has 7 world champions. 7. More than any human being in the entire history of motorsport. Your granddad hasn't even achieved 7 of anything. I haven't achieved 7 of anything. Lewis did it in a car. Normal, rational functioning humans would hang those on a wall, buy a private island, and tell their alarm to go sell forever. Not Lewis. Lewis looked at 7 titles, then looked at Ferrari in their gorgeous iconic red and thought, yeah, what about 8 though? He left Mercedes. His home, his family basically. The team knew exactly how he likes it. His steering wheel, his seat, probably even his coffee. 6 of those 7 championships, Mercedes built those with him. And he rang them up and said, cheers for everything, but toodles. My dad won't change his broadband provider, and he's been complaining about it for 4 years. Lewis Hamilton left the most successful partnership in F1 history because 7 titles wasn't enough. In his 40s, that's not ambition anymore. That's pure, unfiltered greed. And the funniest part? Ferrari being Ferrari haven't exactly given him a spaceship, have they? So Lewis is out there in Maranello, in the red suit, still searching, still pushing, still wanting, while the rest of us are sat at home going, Lewis, baby, 7. You could retire tomorrow and the GOAT debate would still be entirely about you for the next 100 years. Go rest. But nope, 7 isn't enough. 7 is just a number. 8 is a lifestyle. 8 is why the alarm goes off. 8 is why he's learning Italian and convincing himself the car is fine when it clearly is not. Textbook greed. Legendary greed. The kind of greed that honestly makes you want to be a better person, just maybe not that greedy. Lewis, mate, go lie down.
You serious?
Wrath. Pure, burning, volcanic rage. Charles Leclerc, everyone. Please welcome him to the stage. Now, on the surface, Charles looks like a Disney prince. Genuinely. The eyes, the hair, the charming Monaco accent. You'd think this man has never had a bad thought in his life. Then, Ferrari does something Ferrari-shaped, and the mask comes off. The radio messages. Oh, the radio messages. The frustrated hands slapping the steering wheel like it stole his girlfriend from him. The post-race press conference face that says, I am 3 bad pit calls away from becoming a full-time pianist? And I'm not joking. Monaco 2022. His home race in front of his family, his country, the entire Principality of Monaco watching their boy on pole. Ferrari pitted him at the wrong time.
Box now, box now, box.
The silence in the radio afterwards. That silence said more than any swear or curse word could. That man was experiencing a complete internal mental breakdown while trying to remain professional for the cameras. And you could feel it through the screen. And on track, push Charles, and he pushes back hard. He's not a dirty driver, but he races like someone who was personally wronged in a previous life and is settling debts at 200 miles per hour. Charles Leclerc looks like a Disney prince, races like the villain in a Disney film. Ferrari, a team famously known as the poop team and for making drivers lose their minds, somehow found the perfect match for themselves.
Nice.
Envy. Wanting what somebody else has so badly, it physically hurts. Now, Lando Norris is talented, rich, devoured by millions, has great hair, and his merchandise sells out in minutes. On paper, this man has everything. So what could Lando possibly be envious of? Max Verstappen's car. 4 straight years. Lando came into Formula 1 and was immediately undeniably fast. Not, oh, he's quite promising fast. Properly, embarrassingly, why is this McLaren up there fast? And then he spent 4 seasons watching Max disappear into the distance in that Red Bull, winning everything, collecting championships like loyalty points, while Lando was performing genuine miracles in a car that had absolutely no business being where he was putting it. The podiums he was dragging out of nowhere, the qualifying laps, the commentators who simply ran out of words that weren't just, oh, how is he doing that? And behind all of it, you can see the envy. That quiet, controlled, I just need a proper car and I'll show everyone energy. And then McLaren gave him that car in 2024, and Lando won in Miami. And the emotion that came out of him, that wasn't just a first win. That was 4 years of envy finally getting its answer. Lando Norris, no longer watching through the window. He's inside now. He's sat down, and he's absolutely ordering everything on the menu. Nani? Sloth. The art of doing the absolute bare minimum of occupying a space and simply existing in it. Lance Stroll, ladies and gentlemen. Please take your time getting here. No rush. No one likes you much here anyway. Now, let me be very clear about something. There are 20 seats in Formula 1. 20. At any given moment, there are probably 100 drivers around the world who would generally give up a limb or an organ. Let's not go there, okay? To be one of them. And Lance Stroll has one. He's had one for years. Will probably continue to have one because his dad bought the team. Lawrence Stroll, aka the sugar daddy of F1, billionaire, sharpshoot, sharper business mind, bought Aston Martin, put his son in the car, and said, there you go, son, off you go. And Lance is just there, present in a car on the track.
Wait, is this guy blind? What the is wrong with
Fernando Alonso, one of the greatest drivers in history, joined Aston Martin and was immediately doing things with that car that made engineers cry tears of joy, hauling it into positions it had no right to be in. Meanwhile, Lance, in the same car, was quietly getting out-qualified, out-raced, and out-everythinged by a man who's old enough to be his father. And the response? No visible rage, no hunger, no, I need to fix this. Just vibing in a Formula 1 car, which costs about $500 million to operate per season. The most expensive hobby in human history. To be fair, if my dad bought me an F1 team, I would also not be trying very hard. So, in a weird way, I understand Lance completely. Doesn't make it less slothful, though.
Yeah, we had a good start to the race, and then
couldn't move my hands, I couldn't walk, I broke my toe.
Gluttony. The sin of consuming too much, of never being satisfied, of coming back to the table when any normal person would have gone home hours ago. Fernando Alonso. This man has been in Formula since 2001. Yep, you heard that right. 2001. When some of the current drivers on the grid were probably in primary school or heck, even in diapers. Fernando Alonso was already winning championships and making people's lives difficult. He won back-to-back titles in 2005 and 2006. Most drivers would say, brilliant, legacy secured, lovely, and ease into a comfortable career. Not Fernando, because F1's Pookie Bear wanted more. More wins, more titles, more races, more everything. He went to McLaren. He had a complete nightmare with Lewis Hamilton as a teammate and still came back for more. He went to Ferrari, spent years there, gave everything, got heartbreak in return, and still and came back for more. He left F1 in 2018. We all said goodbye. We did the tributes. We thanked him for the memories. He came back in 2021. Yeah. Anyways, like a man who left a restaurant, walked to his car, and then turned around because he fancied a dessert. Now he's at Aston Martin. In his 40s, his freaking 40s, still racing, still pushing, still acing every opportunity, every moment that Formula 1 will give him. Fernando Alonso doesn't know how to stop eating. He doesn't want to stop eating. He will be in in a Formula One car until somebody physically removes him from the cockpit. Gluttony. Absolutely legendary gluttony. And honestly, we don't deserve him.
What?
Lust. Raw, unfiltered, I can't think about anything else. Obsession. Now, before you guys go somewhere weird, we're talking about the lust for racing. So, Carlos Sainz got dropped by Ferrari. Ferrari, one of the most iconic sporting institutions on the planet historically speaking. They looked at Carlos, a driver who gave them everything, won races for them, nearly won them a championship, and went, yeah, but we want Lewis Hamilton instead. Imagine that phone call. Imagine sitting across from Fred Vasseur hearing those words. What did Carlos do? Did he retire? Did he take a gap year to process his feelings in Ibiza? Did he write a passive-aggressive statement and disappear? No. He signed with Williams, a team that at that point hadn't won a race in years. He got on a car and immediately started dragging it places it had absolutely no business being. Because here's the thing about Carlos that nobody talks about enough. He doesn't race for politics. He doesn't race for the narrative. He doesn't race to beat someone or prove a point. He races because he's completely, utterly, hopelessly in love with racing. It's all over his face every single weekend. The joy when it goes right, the frustration when it doesn't, the fact that he will extract every single millisecond from whatever machinery he's given because not doing so would be a waste of his time he could be spending going fast. His dad was a rally world champion. Racing isn't a career choice for Carlos. It's genetic. It's in his blood. It's the only thing that makes sense. And that genuinely is the most wholesome, deadly sin you will ever witness. Lust for speed. No notes whatsoever. So, the next time Formula One tries to sell you the clean, polished corporate version of itself, the perfectly scripted press conferences, the carefully worded statements, the PR smiles, just remember what's actually underneath it all. 7 deeply unhinged people doing deeply unhinged things at 200 miles per hour every single Sunday. And we absolutely love every second of it. So, my fellow unhinged F1 fans, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next race.